Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Cloudia launch webinar. We are really excited to introduce you to the Cloudia solution, and we are thrilled to see so many of you joining us here today. My name is Nora Rinnen, and I will be your moderator. I'm responsible for marketing in the Cloud People, and I'm excited to be introducing you to this session today. In this webinar, we will address some of the challenges with finding cloud resources in today's market situation, and explain why we believe smart resourcing is the way forward. We will also give you a demo on how you can do an automated search and booking of resources using Cloudia. Today's speakers will be Bjørn Jarl, Chairman of the Board in the Cloud People, and Marcin Bielak, who is responsible for our professional services organization. Before we start, I have a few practicalities I would like to cover. This webinar is scheduled to last for about 45 minutes. You will all be muted throughout the webinar to avoid any interruptions. If you want to ask questions, please submit these by using the section called Questions in the menu section. We will answer all questions by the end of the webinar. If you have any questions after the webinar has ended, please feel free to reach out to us. Within the next few days, you will receive an email with the slides and a recording of this presentation. With this, I will hand the word over to Bjørn.
So thank you, Nora. Thank you very much. It's nice to see that we have a lot of customers and partners joining in here this morning at this webinar, which is the launch of Cloudia. I will shortly take you into the market situation and the idea behind Cloudia, and give you the essence of our concept, smart resourcing. Cloudia, which is launched today for customers, is the brain of the Cloud People. We believe that Cloudia will give a new standard for cloud consulting, what comes to transparency, what comes to documented competences, and a grading system that will give both consultants and customers a fair play into the future. If we're talking about our opinion, which we will today, Cloudia will be the resource management system of the future, fully transparent for customers, partners, resource managers, and of course the consultants themselves. A system in itself has of course low value without content, so I'm pleased to tell you more about our fantastic resources that you will find in Cloudia in a short. First, I need to tell a little bit about the status of the Cloud People and who we are and where we come from. We are in the Cloud People in a position that we are focusing on two technologies, two platforms. The Cloud People has chosen to be two of the fastest growing platforms in the world right now. A choice we as a team did already by 2011 when we stepped into these two ecosystems. Focusing purely on those two platforms makes us able to go deep and broad on our capabilities on the different parts of the platforms, horizontally, but also vertically, with experience on bank and finance, retail, public, municipalities, and much more. So if I'm then talking shortly about the Cloud People today, I would say that in the middle, smart resourcing. The Cloud People is smart resourcing with the right resource at the right task, giving you the high quality for a good price. Better together, a culture that includes customers and partners to work together. 100% transparency in all what we're doing. Pay what you get, overview of grades and prices, and diverse competencies. Since we're focusing on the two platforms only, we only focus on the different parts of those two platforms. And of course, then we have diverse competencies from advisors, architects, business change, solution consultants, and project managers, the whole spectrum there. Within over 94 consultants as of today, which you will find in Cloudia, you will find all these kind of resources. And if we then take a step into the future, we will see this. Cloudia will contain, for you as a user, today we're talking about close to 100 specialists working across Northern Europe. Today we have presence locally in the Nordics and in UK. In UK we do have YA, which is a ServiceNow partner, joined into Cloudia in a partnership with their resources available at Cloudia. Within the ITOM area, we're having an ITOM specialist partner called United Partners joined in. And with the growth we will have this year, we expect that we will have more than 200 specialists in Cloudia at the end of the year. And if you give it a long term of this, we will double this number by 2023. So this is kind of the content that you could expect to get out of Cloudia on ServiceNow and Google consultants. I'm going to take you shortly into our concept, smart resourcing, and I will tell you a little bit about how important that is today and the reason behind. If we look into today's market situation, there is a high demand for cloud services in the market. Only in Norway, where I'm coming from, we need more than 40,000 more educated IT professionals to keep up the demand as of today. In the Nordics, we're talking about 150,000, and if we're talking about the whole Northern Europe, we're having a big number, which I don't have, but you can recognize that yourself. And into this view, where we are on the cloud consulting, both on the Google Cloud and the ServiceNow platform will need a high number of new resources into the market. We have seen Google Cloud growth over the last years, same thing with the ServiceNow, and the growth track and the growth speed we're having today will tell us that we're going to miss a lot of resources out there in the next coming years. So what happens then in a market where it's missing resources? That's the question. And on top of missing resources, which is one problem, you're also missing transparency, and you don't know what you get as a customer. So the only thing we know for sure is that with missing resources, fast growth, the rate's going to be higher, and I'm sorry to say that the quality will probably then also go down. So that's in our view. Another issue here is that the market will be extremely inefficient with wrong use of capabilities, which is quite normal as of today. Same person doing different roles in a project, like an architect doing development, one guy doing all the kind of roles. That is what we have seen. So in that sense, into this market situation, we all know it's going to be very hard to find the best people in the future, and that's where the right resource on the right task is so important for the future. So and then it's like, it's easy to say, but how are you going to do that? I think it's time now to rethink the way we buy and sell services and consulting services in that sense. The cloud people has challenged the market to rethink the way we buy and sell consulting services. That's where we are using the concept smart resourcing. We do believe there's a better way to staff your projects, a better way to get better predictability into the important digital transformation of your business, which is going on right now, and to get efficiency with the right resource to the right task. So that's kind of an ongoing discussion in the market now, how are we going to do this, and the answer for us is smart resourcing. So we believe there is a better way. We believe in open up for full transparency, both for customers and consultants. We believe in to give enough information so the customer knows what he gets. Use the right capability at the right task, as I said. Build the most efficient team. Reasonable use of time for a lower cost. Quality assure all consultants in one database. And then search and find what you need, and maybe you need to build your own teams with a mix of internal and external resources. That's how we work better together, as I mentioned earlier on here now. All right. So in that sense, we're talking about using the right capability to the right task, and thereby get a quality and cost-efficient premises in that sense. So I'm going to let the word go over to my colleague Marcin Bilak, which is going to take you a little bit into smart resourcing, and then finally into Cloudia. Thanks.
You are muted, Martin.
Yes. Thank you very much, Björn. So let me take you further from here and tell you first a bit about smart resourcing, the consultancy model, which is very important for us, and obviously consultancy model, which is highly dependent on the functionality of Cloudia that I'll be showing you in just a moment. So as Björn said, smart resourcing is all about ability that the cloud people has to staff the delivery projects for our consultants, to ensure that all the right capabilities are on board the delivery team to cover the different tasks within the project. And then if we do this right, we optimize the delivery when it comes to the quality, so we ensure really the highest possible quality. But at the same time, we are also very efficient on the cost side by ensuring that the overall delivery team doesn't have to cost as much as many customers are used to. In order to do that, we have established in the center of the model the so-called grade matrix. The grade matrix is a measurable way for us to have control of the seniority and capabilities of our consultants. So the grade matrix, being in the center, is a system in which we are able to predict and rate the capabilities of the consultants based on their project experience, based on the customer satisfaction score received from the customers, evaluating the performance of the consultant, based on skills, certifications, or knowledge. This grading model affects the consultant on a high level because it does determine the salary level for the consultant, but it also gives a very clear and transparent way for the consultant to steer the career plan. On the other side, the grade matrix affects the customer because seniority is related to the cost or price. So in other words, the different grades determine the different daily rates for the customer. If we move further with this, one of the core concepts of the smart resourcing is simplicity. If we know, since we know exactly the capabilities of the cloud people teams measured and described in Cloudia system, we are able, together with the customer, to in a very simple way to determine the team of consultants needed for a given task and search for the individuals that fit the project based on different criteria, like the country of residence, like the profiles of consultants, grades reflecting the seniority, skills, or other criteria. Another aspect of the smart resourcing, which is very important, is the transparency. Cloudia is the way of ensuring that transparency by showing the consultants' grades, their titles, their skill level, but also the project experience, and in this way justifying the real experience that each consultant with a given grade represents. The third aspect, very important, and enabling the customers by Cloudia, is the predictability. Cloudia will allow a lot of our customers to go into the system and pre-book the resources they will need for the projects they have in their pipeline. And by pre-booking, the customers receive additional discounts from us as the cloud people, which are getting the predictability and ability to book the resources in advance. So how does this work in a practical way? Once the team is set up, it's actually the delivery team. It's not individuals delivering the project or delivering the service to the customer demand. Those delivery teams consist of different consultants depending on the task type. And then the delivery project in itself has a different roles in it covered by the different consultants. So it could be solution consultants, architects, or developers managed by project manager that could fit for a given customer project. So in practice, this could be, like in this example here, a team of 3 consultants working together in a so-called virtual team. Potentially with an architect, in this case coming from Finland, working side by side with the customer, but collaborating tightly with developers from Poland. This setup will ensure high quality of the project delivery, but at the same time taking into account the different cost of the resources being part of the team. The average day rate will go lower than it is typical with locally managed delivery teams. And let me just give you an example of a real virtual team. It's a virtual team of consultants working together for various projects, various consultants, consisting of a solution consultant, grade 7, working with grade 2 or plus technical consultants from Poland, with a well worked out communication routines, well established collaboration model, ensuring that these guys, although working cross borders virtually, are highly efficient in a project. So in order to set up such team of consultants for a customer project, we need Cloudia. So let me just switch now the screen presented to you and go over to a demo mode. So what I'm going to show you here is a simple access to Cloudia that doesn't even require you to register anywhere. This is the so-called anonymous access to Cloudia, which you will be able to test out right after this webinar. It's accessible for you via the website, via our website on thecloudpeople.com. Access is anonymous, but provides you a simplified ability to request real Google or ServiceNow delivery teams to your projects. And those of you who will become our customers, you will get extended access to log into the system with username and password. And then you'll get even more extended abilities to search and book resources in a more automated manner. But let's start with showing you the simplified and publicly available access to Cloudia for the purposes of this demo. So in the first step, you would select between Google or ServiceNow resources you would want to book to your project. And once selected, in this case, ServiceNow, you'll be presented with the most typical demands or project you might want to use our consultants to. They obviously reflect the different aspects of working with ServiceNow in this case. It will be like ITSM, ITBM, IT operations, IRM, or HR, CSM, but maybe you need our help with building your service portal, or do some maintenance, small development, or upgrade tasks. We call it AMS. Maybe you might need to help us to create a custom application on your ServiceNow platform, or maybe you would like to hire us for training or integration purposes. If you don't find what you're looking for, you can always describe it in the other section and send us your specific customized demand this way. But for the purpose of demo, let's select a service portal project. As you can see here on the screen, the system automatically found some individuals and will present it to you in few more steps. In order to do that, the system will ask you first to go and provide us your email address. Once you provide email address and agree to the terms of service, you'll receive an email. The email will be actually providing you further to the details of the team that we suggest for you. So I'm just switching now to the inbox of the potential customer. As you can see, the customer receives the email. The email contains a link with the consultant search results. So once the email is clicked, you'll get into one of the final stages because you will be presented with a real, most typical team of consultants that we would suggest for a service portal project. The team would consist, in this case, as you see, of 3 most typical roles held by Miłosz, who would be the project manager, Heidi, our UX designer, probably helping out in the designing the service portal look and feel. And last but not least, Łukasz, skilled developer with high skills on service portal work. But this is not the end. From here, you can actually evaluate those individuals which we propose to you. You can look through their profile, you can look through their grade, personality and background, professional experience, actually all projects executed before, certificates, professional skills, or languages. This information is obviously, in this case, anonymized, but our customers who sign up for collaboration with us will get even more comprehensive access to the information about the delivery team proposed. From here, you can click for all the individuals and evaluate their capabilities as they would be applicable for your project. So let's now switch to a bit different context, because this was your part. This was you as the customer asking us for help with your project. And what I'm showing to you now is the other side of the picture, which is Cloudia as managed by our resource manager. The resource manager goes into the system and will recognize immediately that there is a new request managed by the system automatically, the request for service portal project work. The resource manager will see from here that based on the availability in the system has proposed these 3 people for the work. So from here, the resource manager can obviously do further dialogue with you to ensure that the demand requested by you is well understood and may be specified in a better way. The resource manager will confirm the availability of the individuals. As you can see here, those consultants have time to work in the weeks ahead. So that would be the subject for resource manager to refine. But if there's additional adjustments to the delivery team needed, then our resource manager together with you can do further refinement of the team setup based on actually the Cloudia data which we have in here. So this refinement can be done based on the country that the consultant comes from, It can be based on the capability domain, so the expertise area. It can be based on the profile of the consultant that's needed. Grade, reflecting the seniority. Skills, various skills that are needed for that specific work that has to be done. But also level of the skill. Might be that we need expert level of certain skill. Or we can search based on the certificates that have to prove the capability of the consultant. And last but not least, we can do a free text search in the system in order to take all those aspects combined and evaluate the search results. So once the team is confirmed with the client, the resource manager from here, at least in this scenario, would just do a few more clicks to just add a soft booking for those individuals to reserve their time for the client asking, and confirm that in a quote sent over to the customer asking for help, with the team confirmed and the rates added at the same time. Now, that was a simple access to Cloudia. Obviously, what I was not showing to you is the access that those of you who become the customers would have with extended capabilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin, for a very good demo. We will jump to the Q&A session, and I have received a few questions during the webinar here. And the first one is, where can I access the search wizard? You answered that now in the demo, Martin, but for all of you, you can just go into the cloudpeople.com, and there's a link to the Cloudia landing page where the search wizard can be found, and you can start immediately your search from there. Another question we got was, as a customer, when can I get full access to the Cloudia database? Could you answer that, Björn?
Yeah, for sure. Access to the database is on the website today, so everybody can go into the website and get the access directly. But if you want to go behind the scenes and sit down with a resource manager and get the full data, for all customers of us will have that. Unfortunately, they just need to sign another piece of paper because it's personal data, so GDPR things in place. We need to do that. Talk to us, talk to your account manager, and we will take that discussion further.
Thank you, Björn. Last question that came in today was, can I get full access to Cloudia without being a customer of yours?
Is that for me or for Martin?
Yeah, you can answer that as well.
Yeah, no, you want. So our partners and customers will have access to this, but if you're not frame agreement customer, you will not have access to the data. I'm sorry.
Okay, that were all the questions. So thank you, Björn and Martin. And this was all we had for you today. I hope you found this session useful. As I mentioned in the beginning, you will receive an email with a link to the presentation as well as the recording of this webinar. You can try the search wizard already today by visiting our website or using the link in the next slide there, Björn. And if you have any questions or want to get in touch with us regarding ServiceNow or Google Cloud resources, please feel free to get in touch with us. I will end this webinar today by wishing you a great day, and thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.